to us. Fear not, because I got this. Our sermon title for tonight is The Gift of Rejection. Yeah. I hear you say yes, she goes again. No. The gift of rejection. We are going to delve into the word, my reader. Kindly, we're going to be looking at the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, from verses 5 to 11. The gift of rejection. Samuel chapter 16, starting verse 5. And he said peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked at Eliab and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance or on his height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as men seeth. For men looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, Neither had the Lord chosen these. And Jesse made Shammah to pass by. And he said, Neither had the Lord chosen this. And again Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, The Lord has not chosen these. In verse 11. And Samuel said unto Jesse, I hear all thy children. And he said, Then reigneth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for you will not sit down till we come hither. May God add a blessing to the reading of his word. Amen. Let us pray. Allow me tonight to spend to pray in Swana. I've been praying in Swana since I came here. So let me bless us in Swana. Will you rise up? Rabbi Kokore Sasa Sona. Open my name for Bua. Rankaba Release. Rankina Jesus. Amen. The gift of rejection. We all know that gifts excite us. I don't know about you, but my goodness, gifts do excite me. It's my primary love language. When you give me a gift, it just makes me bubble joy. Whether it's a sweet or a pen, it just does the trick. Because it tells me when you saw that sweet or the pen or the dress, Madeira, or anything that you give me, you show that you're thinking about it. So I love gifts. Let me see the hands of those who don't love gifts. So we all love gifts. Amen. Now, I know you're wondering, if gifts brings us that joy, how then can rejection be a gift? If my own father disowned me, if my own mother could not say anything good to me, she couldn't say any kind word, how can rejection be a gift? We just read. Samuel was a prophet. And we know the story of Saul, that now he has misbehaved. And God was not happy with him. And he says, because I rejected this guy, I need somebody to replace him. Now Samuel had to be very, very tactful, because as long as Saul was alive, there was no how David or anyone could be king. So God then sends to him and said, can you go to Jesse's place? And when you get to Jesse's house, tell them that you are just coming to offer a sacrifice. Now, it was very common that when you see a prophet coming to your house, you get worried. No, this is when pastors come, we're okay, because we are used to that. During the time when growing up, a pastor coming to your house, it was a big deal. So these people are seeing the prophet coming and asking, are you coming in good faith? He says, no, don't worry. I've just come to offer a sacrifice. Now he comes to Jesse and says, I need to anoint one of your sons as to be king. And they all are paraded, 7 of them. And then every time they come, the other one thinks, someone says, maybe this one because Lord, he's so belt and tall and handsome,
back and they want that sweep our feet off. God says, not that way. All of them. One at a time. Then somebody responds and says to this, are these all that you have? And without even thinking, Jesse answers, oh, by the way, there's one. And there's a connotation. He's tending sheep. This is saying to you and me. In other words, the youngest was not there because they didn't know where he was, but because he was not invited. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your own people reject you, where you don't get recognized for anything, and you feel so insignificant? When you're in meetings, you're raising your hand, you want to say something, you don't know, you shut up, let's go to Mother. Have you experienced that? When those that are known to have money, if they are not there, the meeting doesn't start. Or maybe it's you are blessed. So Jesse is aware that there is one of his sons. He should bring your sons. Someone never said, bring those that are clean, or those that are staying in your house, or those that are living. He says, bring your children, bring your sons. So this is telling you and me that rejection is not accidental. It is something that doesn't happen in isolation. It means somebody will be intentional about this. Somebody would have a purpose about this rejection. And when it happened to Jesse's son, he felt so alone. And I want to believe that's how we would feel. Now I'm bringing a case study because I work with people who go through the same. And I want us to look at this case study and see if we can see ourselves in this. Now, Sarah is a 32-year-old lady. She comes and works as a marketing professional. She's so known and very warm and caring in nature. Now, growing up, she dreamt to be very successful, having a career, having a happy family. But over time, she's encountering a series of rejections that deeply affect her self-esteem and how she believes the world views her. Now, her first significance of this rejection was during her teenage years, where her best friend distanced herself from her, leaving Sarah feeling abandoned and confused. Later on in life, Sarah now faces a major romantic rejection, where her long-term partner ends their relationship, citing that there's lack of connection and so on. And this breakup leaves her feeling unworthy and questioning her value. Let's mark this. Her self-esteem is affected. Her worldview is affected. She's feeling unworthy and questioning her value. 4 things. Now, at work, Sarah pulls herself into the project, as it were, hoping to climb the ladder of her career. Despite the hard work, there's lack of recognition and what she only hears that we are seeing a lot of insecurities in you. You need to reinforce your beliefs about yourself because you're not good enough. Actually, as a result of these experiences, Sarah begins to isolate herself because of fear of further rejection. She struggles with low self-esteem, anxiety, a persistent inner voice that is telling her you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you will not succeed, and this impacts all the relationships that we have with family, with friends, with loved ones. And she comes for counseling. Then we have to take her through gradually to learn to separate her self-worth from other people's acceptance. In other words, then we help her to reframe her thoughts so that now she recognizes that the rejection is not a reflection of her intrinsic value. That, in other words, what she needs to do eventually is to develop a healthier self-image, resilience, and re-engage in relationships with a newfound confidence and clarity. I'm not sure if this is ringing any bells. 4 things we're going to learn about rejection. 1, it distorts the value of your perception. Jeremiah 1:5, we are told, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you and I set you apart. So God is saying, before the egg made the sperm, I had purpose for you. Before the sperm made the egg, I had value for you. Before the sperm made the egg, I decided that I, God, as your creator, you are necessary as a creation. It distorts how we value ourselves. And God's girls, tonight I'm saying to you, if God has confirmed that you are necessary, that you are meant to be who He says He is, how dare then do we give in to somebody who comes in with that, this distorted view about ourselves, and we dare to believe it? And we are saying it ends today. It has to end today. Now, when we go to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 32, all the way down, we see now David was anointed king, and there's war, as we know. Goliath is tormenting the children of Israel, telling them all things about what he believes to be right about him. The second thing that we are going to learn from rejection is that rejection will serve God's purpose for you. It is meant to serve God's purpose for you. What do we mean? When David was in the wilderness alone, he was out there to tend sheep, but David was out there being prepared for Goliath. If he didn't want to tend sheep, there will be no story of Goliath for you to read. We'll continue to explain. When he was in the field alone, without his brother or his father's protection, he learned to rely solely on God. This is saying to you and me, for us to want to always be validated by people who themselves are empty. That's why you can't give what you don't have. They'll come and say these things to you because they want to make them feel good. When in essence, they're the ones who are empty. So you are crying for the crumbs of their attention. So when he was out there, he relied on God's word. Now, because he had God on his side, he was bold enough to fight the lions and the bears. He wouldn't have done it on his own. It's only God's doings. And I want you tonight, ladies, to know that you need to stand bold, knowing that no matter who left you in the field to your detriment, they did it for your own good. Amen. Rejection is your training ground for your purpose that God has for you. Many of us, we focus on people who walked away from us and who have forgotten us. The word of the Lord says He will never leave you nor forsake you. We've repeated that many times. And in fact, He says, until the end of age. It doesn't matter who walked away from you. It doesn't matter who doesn't invite you, or who overlooks you, or who discourages you, because God, when God is for you, who can be against you? Rejection is a gift. But we need to know that rejection is a gift. It can only happen when you open the gift. Because the wrap of the rejection is the pain. But when you open that wrapping gift, that wrap of pain, you find a gift inside. When you look back in the arc of your life, you are grateful because, I always look at this and I'm grateful for the rejections that I've had in my life repeatedly. I told you what my business is struggling with at the moment. Now, in Botswana, for you to get a license to practice in the country, you have to, after graduation, you give them all your accolades and everything around it. I did that in June. I showed them I've been to school, I studied, I passed. We are in October. The license is still not there. The people who are responsible, I've been to all the offices you can think of. Because of the type of person that I am, it means somehow I rub shoulders with big guns. But those names didn't work. Just yesterday, I sent my driver to say, can you pass by the office and find out from me if they have done anything to my paper? And he says so. But you know, I know that my father is cooking something. After this, something big that no one can hold is coming up. I've decided not to sit down and feel sorry for myself. Because I believe that rejection is a gift for me. Rejection is a gift. It's a training ground. As we continue the book of 1 Samuel, we are learning that David was anointed king. Listen to this. In front of his brothers. Someone didn't say to Jesse, oh, he's on the field, let's go and look for him. And he said, bring him. And the minute he was brought, God says, that's all. So in your rejection, God will cause for your name to be spoken, even in the court or in the rooms that you never believe that your name so cross. When he was, after he was anointed, by the way, he didn't become king immediately. He went back to the fields because God was not done with him. And while he is busy playing the harp, King Saul continues to go be set in the palace. Everywhere in our field, my sister, he became schizophrenic as it were. And then they say, my goodness, now he needs help. What can we do with him? Bring somebody to play music. And then somebody, a servant says, I know someone. I know someone. He is the son of Jezebel. I've not heard him play in front of Zusdaf or online or other. He plays for sheep. He plays for sheep. Because that's the only audience he had. Remember he was in the fields? So Zusdaf was not there. No any other activities, no any other picture, no his family. But the servant says, I've heard. Maybe the servant was fasting because instead of he's supposed to go to work and he hears this music playing. And the only audience that David had was his sheep. So he says, I know someone who can do this job for the king. So your name, success, will be mentioned in places that you never knew would ever be mentioned. That's why I'm never in any way worried about people who reject me. No. And I don't care whatever shape or form they are in. Because that is not my forte. It's not my forte. The third thing, rejection, the gift of rejection reveals the roles of people in your destiny. This one I love it more. Because I want to believe that many of us as we are sitting here today, we are nursing feelings of unworthiness because somebody walked away from us. But tonight I'm going to tell you, let them go. Release. Not going to say and do it. And go. And go. We have a slogan with Matelos. Release and let go. Amen. They chose to walk away from it. Why follow? Follow around and ask my sister, can we, shall we, will we? Yeah, there are many. We use so many things so that we try to draw their attention. Yeah. No, there are two types of people that come into our lives. There are attached people and assigned people. Now, there are attached people. They connect with you as long as the relationship benefits them. Because what they do is they'll have that mold that they'll put you inside. And you move like a robot. When they say south, you move south. You can't decide west. You go west rest, they leave you rest because they don't want rest. You tell them that, my sister, I'm not comfortable with this, you are wrong. You become an enemy when you say that. But the assigned ones are the ones who are there, not in a relationship or what they'll get out of it, but what can they contribute to the relationship. And most of the time, those are the ones that we reject. They'll take your phone and call you. Oh, I was just checking on you. After you go, how can she tell me just checking on you? Is that what she can say? Thank God they're checking on you. The ones that are attached will tell you, I hear there's Zusdaf, I don't have money. I was thinking that. Can you pay your bill next time it will be me? Next year comes, oh my sister, Zusdaf, this. So every year is next time. Because as soon as it's benefiting them, you're close to them. There's contribution in way. Hey, my sister, it was just last week you were sending money to Zimbabwe. And you know what I did there? They know you are available. You are there to be there. As long as it's sustained, they'll make sure they keep you close. And you know what happens? It is those people that are attached to us that when they leave us, they trigger the things that we know we've been harboring inside of us due to rejection. So now instead of facing that, we bring them closer because we are worried, you are going too far. So we just keep them here so that we don't deal with this problem. But we saw what happens. And the worst of the mistakes that we make is we give them the energy. They control us. Yeah. How we move, what we say, if they see that today you're not eating with them, you're on the other table, they get jealous. I said, today you don't want to eat with me. I go, how many ladies are you? So why should I be the only one that you are eating with? They don't want you to be friends with anyone because they just want to be here to manage. I believe the reason why Samuel anointed David in the presence of his brother was to prove that what God says, no matter in what field you are, it doesn't matter. That you need an audience to listen. We talked about this earlier, that you prepare a table. So none of us here cannot say enemies. From this text, it means every one of us has enemies. Because for a blessing to be set and you're dying, God says in the presence of your enemies. So the problem with us is that we make these enemies frenemies. Have you heard from your children? Yeah, this one is my friend. I used to think, what is this girl saying? My son will say, no, this one is my friend. How do you do it? That's what we do. We eat with them, next thing you're not too sure whether we are with them. We keep on doing give a bag here. We are neither here nor there. Friends. So we cannot afford to make people who walk away from our life in our setup, bring them back in our setup, because sometimes God, all that He needs is to have them as audience. It's audience. Let them be the ones who go and speak on your behalf of what God has said. The fourth thing, the gift of rejection anchors your identity. Remember what we said about Sarah. She felt that she doesn't belong, she's unworthy, she's what? The gift of rejection should anchor your identity. So many of us believe that something is wrong with us because somebody has walked away from you. You say, Sister, did I do anything wrong to you? Did I say anything? They make you feel guilty that you did something wrong to them. Unfortunately, such people also, they are used to rejection, so they will use it because that's all they know. And want to drag you into that mess. We change our personalities. We even change the way we look because of this friend. We even change our desires and everything because we want to suit in their lives. When we know you very well that this lady dresses well, the LNG white style, she dresses, all of a sudden we see you and you think, what happened to the sister? Yeah. And when you came from home, you spoke that English. Yeah. And then they speak this English. When you are with them, they feel out of place. So you try very hard, dear sister, to speak that English to them. But when we accept the gift of rejection, it will anchor your identity because you now realize whom's you are. First Samuel 17 tells us, verses 28 to 32. We won't read all this because of time. Now, what we need to catch next about David is because David became accustomed to the rejection so much that when his brother started to speak, he would simply turn and continue doing what was said. What was happening is, he comes and finds this issue about this Goliath guy, and he's asking, so what's happened? And people are telling him, oh no, this guy is tormenting us, and the chief promised, the king promised that if anyone goes and fights him, he's going to marry his daughter and give him half of the whatever. So the brothers come and start finding that, Ellen, you, and what are you doing? Where's the Manila? What are you doing? You know, you're not even supposed to be here. The last time we checked, and by the way, David was sent to give them food. They could not even be happy to say, oh, thank you for the food. Before they checked the young men. What are you doing? You are even talking about war. Do you know anything about war? Now, what I liked about David, you go and read the story yourself. He didn't listen to them. He continued to do what he believed he would do. You know, sense. And he sold away his CV. I killed the lions and the bears and the king heard. Screaming me. Because there's none of you here who was willing to fight this. And this young man, he said, bring him here. Let me hear what he's going to say. Then he told the king that my guy, I might look small, but I'm big. Because my God is big. Now the problem is, we look at the problem and we tell ourselves how big this problem is. We are telling this problem how big our God is. So he says to me, I don't have a problem. Because King Saul also tried to say to him, but you know, this man has been fighting before, from the time he was a youth. But you are only a youth. And he says to him, that also is not a problem. Because you know, my CD, the way I told you, that's how it is. And I'm not mimicking it. My Father in heaven, that's what he did for me. The problem that with us is that too many of us have many idols of people's approval. We hear the words of God putting us on one side and the applause of people putting us on the other side. And then they come to me, yes, that guy has gone and that guy, he's gone. He tells me he doesn't love me anymore. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I say. Oh, okay. So how do you feel? He said, okay. If he's not there, I mean, this guy, what did he really have that if he was going to really, I know he's my world. Have you ever considered that this guy, before he was, you were? Huh? Before that happened you were. Because your parents groomed you. Yeah, so how does he become your wife? That all of a sudden the relationship stops and then everything is sorrows. So we got torn between a lot of voices. The voice that tells you when he's gone, you are nothing. Really? What does he have? Does he even give you oxygen? Today you are breathing this much. Tomorrow you are breathing that much. But what we need, brother, is that we need to understand is that applause, that calling is only fickle. One moment people applaud you, the next, they're the ones who are not there for. I don't need to tell you this, you are in the English world, you know that. When they meet you, When you are at work, you are colleagues working. By the time you move and you're meeting in town, it's like they've never seen you before. Have you noticed? They still do that. And then they have the crocodile, the crocodile teaching. When they don't really want to leave, they still do that. Now, if you only allow rejection to anchor your identity on God, you'll be able to know who exactly called you to be who you are. That's why we need to refrain from feeling sad when people walk away from us. Or that husband or that boyfriend walks away. It is an opportunity to pass them and say, okay, it's fine. Duh. Because God knows you, my name. Been there, done that. Nothing new. The fifth thing that we need to learn, and the last thing, rejection should be able to draw us nearer to God. Amen. I think when David was in the field by himself, day in and day out, with nobody coming to check on him, nobody to protect him, that he said he knew he is a faithful father. That is why he wrote the Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. He has felt and experienced the blood who shepherded him. I shall not want. He knew. Now anyone who can stand and say the Lord is my shepherd is somebody who knows that this guy has been his shepherd. When you don't have anyone, nobody in your corner, and then you realize that it's only God who is in your corner. Because the thing with God is that He's not impressed by your accurates or how much kilograms you have lost, or your job title, or you are married to whatever, you are single, you are a widow, you are going to have children, you are not. Because in the eyes of the Lord, there is nothing that can be worthy than being you. All He needs is this to be, and to have that relationship. What God is saying to you and me tonight is, instead of turning yourself into the inward, rather look upward, because there is a God who is willing to have a relationship. There's nothing that you've done in the past that has disqualified the purposes He has in your life. And I want you to hear this and internalize this. Remember, it doesn't matter what you've done or how damaged you may be. And He has decided that you are part of this creation. Yes. I came to tell you, my sisters, that you may feel that isolation. You might feel that you've been attacked. You might feel that you are beyond repair. But my God, who takes rejection and redirects it to the purpose He has for you, He is saying to you, I can hear you. I'm here to make sure that this rejection, you will turn it and make sure that it faces you as something positive. That out of it, you will derive a good relationship with Him. That is not dependent on the validation of other people but Him. Because He loves you. He loves you. He loves us all. May God bless you.